Daily consistency. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something simple, yet incredibly powerful. Daily consistency. We often hear phrases like slow and steady wins the race. But in our fast-paced world, we tend to overlook the value of small, repeated efforts. The truth is, success is rarely the result of a single big moment. It's the result of the small choices we make every single day. Daily consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up on the days you're motivated and on the days you're not. It's about choosing action over excuses and progress over perfection. Whether you're working toward a fitness goal, a career milestone, or just trying to be a better version of yourself, consistency is the key that unlocks growth. You may not notice a difference immediately, and that's okay. That's okay. Just like drops of water can carve stone over time, your consistent efforts will shape your future. So be patient, be persistent. Show up for yourself every day, because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled by talent or luck. It's filled by daily consistency. Thank you. Consistency beats intensity. It's a truth that applies to nearly every aspect of life, from physical fitness to learning a new skill, building a career, nurturing relationships, or developing a healthy mindset. In a world obsessed with fast results and overnight success stories, we often undervalue the quiet, powerful impact of steady, sustained effort. But when you truly understand the principle that consistency outweighs intensity, everything changes. You realize that greatness isn't built in a day, it's built daily. Let's take a simple example, working out. Many people hit the gym hard for a week or two, going all out with extreme workouts, hoping to see quick results. But more often than not, they burn out, lose motivation, or get discouraged by the lack of instant transformation. On the other hand, someone who commits to a 30-minute walk or a moderate workout 5 days a week, month after month, may not be flashy or impressive at first. But give it time. That person is building endurance, developing discipline, and allowing their body to adapt and grow stronger. They are far more likely to succeed in the long run because their approach is sustainable. This is the essence of consistency over intensity. The same principle applies to learning. Think about a student who studies for hours on the night before an exam versus one who reviews the material for 20 to 30 minutes every day. The all-nighter might get them through the test, but the one who studies daily is truly mastering the subject. Why? Why? Because learning takes time to sink in. Our brains retain information more effectively through spaced repetition and gradual exposure. Intense cramming may help with short-term memorization, but it rarely leads to deep understanding. Consistency builds knowledge layer by layer, making it stronger and more permanent. Consistency is also the foundation of skill development. Whether you're learning to play an instrument, write, code, or speak a new language, regular practice is what refines your abilities. You can't expect to become a great pianist by playing for 8 hours once a month. And if you play for 30 minutes every day, you build muscle memory, ear training, and creative intuition. You give yourself the space to improve gradually. That regularity, no matter how small, compounds over time and becomes real progress. In the workplace, consistent performance often outshines occasional brilliance. A team member who delivers quality work on a regular basis becomes reliable and trusted. Compare that to someone who delivers a standout project every now and then, but is unpredictable the rest of the time. While moments of brilliance are valuable, they can't replace the trust and dependability that daily, consistent effort creates. Employers, clients, and colleagues value reliability because it forms the backbone of any successful collaboration, even in relationships, whether with family, friends, or partners. Consistency is what fosters trust, closeness, and emotional security. A grand romantic gesture is nice, but consistent kindness, support, and communication are what truly sustain a relationship over time. You don't need to impress the people in your life every day. You just need to show up and be present again and again. The key reason consistency beats intensity is sustainability. Intensity relies on willpower, which fluctuates. It depends on being in the mood, feeling motivated, or having ideal conditions. Consistency, on the other hand, becomes part of your identity. It's no longer about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating a rhythm and sticking with it. It's about making the task part of your daily life, so you no longer need to get motivated to do it. You just do it. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year. Daily consistent actions may not seem impressive on their own, but they accumulate. They snowball. They lay down tracks in your brain, in your body, and in your habits. Eventually, what once felt like effort becomes automatic. You no longer have to push yourself as hard because consistency has rewired your routine. It has taken the weight off motivation and put the power in your hands. Daily actions create long-term results. It's easy to overlook the small things we do every day, dismissing them as insignificant or not impactful enough. But when you zoom out and observe your life over weeks, months, or years, you'll see that it's not the rare, dramatic efforts that shape your path. It's the quiet, repetitive actions you take on a daily basis. Each small step, done consistently, becomes part of a larger system that drives change, growth, and transformation. Consider how nature operates. A tree doesn't grow tall overnight. A river doesn't carve a canyon in a single flood. These natural processes are slow, but they are unrelenting. Day by day, drop by drop, they shape their environment permanently. Whether you realize it or not, every action you take, what you eat, how you move, what you read, how you talk to others, how you think about yourself, feeds into a long-term outcome. Let's take a closer look at health and fitness. Drinking one soda, skipping one workout, or staying up late one night doesn't seem like a big deal. And it's not in isolation. But when those actions become patterns, when they turn into daily or weekly habits, they start to accumulate consequences. On the flip side, drinking more water, eating vegetables with each meal, walking for 20 minutes a day, these also don't bring instant, noticeable changes. But give it a few months and the difference becomes visible and even life-changing. Your energy increases, your mindset shifts, your body changes, and your confidence grows. Those outcomes don't arrive all at once. They build, little by little, through daily choices. The same principle applies to learning and self-development. Imagine you read just 10 pages of a book every day. That might take you 15-20 minutes. In 1 year, you could finish 12 to 15 books. That's 12 more than many people read in a year. That small daily action feeds your mind, expands your thinking, and gives you a stronger base of knowledge. Or maybe you spend 10 minutes each day learning a new language on an app. It might not feel like progress at first, but months later, you'll be having basic conversations, understanding new words, and connecting with a whole new culture, all because of a few daily minutes invested consistently. Career development follows the same rhythm. If you spend even 30 minutes each day working on a personal project, building a skill, networking, or improving your resume or portfolio, you begin to create opportunities that didn't exist before. You build momentum. When you look back 6 months or a year later, you'll see clear progress, not because you made one big leap, but because you took hundreds of small steps in the same direction. One of the most overlooked benefits of daily action is that it trains your mindset. When you do something consistently, you begin to identify as the kind of person who does that thing. If you write every day, even for a few minutes, you start to see yourself as a writer. If you practice mindfulness or journal every day, you start to see yourself as someone who values peace and self-awareness. The daily action creates a feedback loop. The more you do it, the more it becomes part of your identity and the more it influences your future actions. This is the true power of daily effort. It compounds. Just like investing money in a savings account gains interest over time, your daily habits build value. They become easier as your mind and body adapt. And eventually they begin to drive bigger and bigger returns. What once required discipline and planning becomes automatic. At that point, your habits are working for you, not against you. It's easy to underestimate what you're doing today. But every drop in the bucket counts. Every repetition matters. Every page, every rep, every word, every decision is a building block. And over time, these small, often invisible efforts become the very foundation of your long-term success. Motivation is fleeting. Habits are lasting. This is one of the most important truths to understand if you want to achieve anything meaningful in life. Motivation feels great when it's there. It gives you energy, excitement, and a sense of possibility. On motivated days, you feel like you can conquer anything. But the reality is, motivation is unpredictable. It comes and goes like the weather. You might wake up one morning ready to take on the world, and the next day feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. That's why relying on motivation alone is a dangerous strategy if you're trying to build consistency. When you base your actions on how motivated you feel, you become a victim of your emotions and circumstances. You only go to the gym when you feel inspired. You only study when the mood strikes. You only work on your goals when everything feels perfect. But life doesn't always give you perfect conditions. There are hard days, busy days, days when you're stressed, overwhelmed, or simply not in the mood. If motivation is your only fuel, you'll struggle to stay on track. That's where habits come in. Habits are the systems that keep you moving forward even when motivation disappears. A habit is something you do automatically without needing to think about it too much. It's built through repetition. At first, it takes effort and intention. You have to push yourself to start, but over time, with enough consistency, the action becomes part of your routine. It becomes a natural part of your day, like brushing your teeth or drinking water. You no longer have to negotiate with yourself each time. You just do it. Think about successful people in any field: athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, writers, or musicians. They don't rely on being constantly motivated. They build systems and routines. A writer writes every day, even when they don't feel inspired. An athlete trains every day, even when they're tired.
An athlete trains every day.
A musician practices daily, even on the days when it feels repetitive or boring. Their results don't come from bursts of passion. They come from the quiet discipline of habits that carry them through the low-energy moments. Habits act as a foundation. When your motivation is high, it's easy to build on that foundation and make big leaps. But when motivation is low, your habits are what keep you afloat. They keep you showing up, putting in the reps, and staying committed to your goals. This consistency is what creates momentum, and momentum is more powerful than motivation. It pushes you forward, builds your confidence, and reinforces your sense of identity. Another reason habits matter more than motivation is that they help eliminate decision fatigue. Every time you rely on willpower to decide whether to do something, you drain your mental energy. But if something is a habit, there's no debate. You simply do it. You don't ask yourself, do I feel like exercising today? If it's part of your daily habit, the decision is already made. This clarity removes hesitation and makes it easier to stay consistent. Moreover, building good habits protects you from the ups and downs of life. When challenges arise, and they always will, your habits act as a stabilizing force. You might not be able to give 100% every day, but even 40% effort, maintained consistently, is better than giving up completely. Habits give you resilience. They give you structure when things feel chaotic, and direction when you feel lost. Finally, once habits are in place, they begin to reinforce themselves. You see the benefits of your effort. You feel healthier, think more clearly, get more done, and build confidence. That, in turn, can reignite motivation. But now your motivation is supported by action, not just fleeting emotion. You're no longer waiting to feel inspired. You're taking control of your behavior, your time, and your progress. Habits give you power. They free you from the trap of depending on motivation and allow you to create consistency no matter how you feel. Progress, not perfection. It's a mindset that can transform how we approach our goals, challenges, and personal growth. Too often, people hold themselves back because they believe that if they can't do something perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. This belief creates a toxic standard, one where anything less than flawless effort feels like failure. But in truth, perfection is a myth, Enoch. It's a myth. It's not real and it's not sustainable. Progress, on the other hand, is real. It's measurable, achievable, and most importantly, it's consistent. Focusing on progress instead of perfection allows you to keep moving forward, even when things aren't ideal. Perfectionism can be paralyzing. When you're obsessed with doing everything perfectly, you end up overthinking, procrastinating, or avoiding action altogether. You might delay starting a project because you're afraid of making mistakes. Or you might abandon something halfway through because it doesn't look or feel exactly the way you imagined. This need for perfection blocks momentum. It keeps you stuck, waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, or the right plan, which rarely ever comes. Progress, on the other hand, encourages you to start where you are, use what you have, and improve as you go. Imagine learning to play the piano. If you're expected yourself to play a song perfectly the first time, you'd quickly become frustrated and probably give up. But if you focused on small improvements, playing one measure better than yesterday, hitting fewer wrong notes, or getting more comfortable with the rhythm, you'd start to notice progress. You wouldn't be perfect, but you'd be better. And that's what creates long-term success. The willingness to keep trying, learning, adjusting, and growing. This applies to every area of life. Fitness, career, relationships, mental health. Let's take fitness as an example. If you expect your workouts to be intense and flawless every day, you'll likely burn out or become discouraged. But if you focus on showing up and making progress, lifting a little more weight, running slightly farther, improving your form, you'll build strength and endurance over time. The results may not come in a perfect straight line, but they will come through consistent, imperfect effort. The same is true in the workplace. Striving for perfection in every task can slow you down, increase stress, and make collaboration difficult. Progress-oriented people, however, are adaptable. They're willing to take feedback, make changes, and keep improving. Employers and teams thrive when individuals focus on getting better rather than being perfect. Innovation, creativity, and learning come from trial and error, not from flawless execution. Focusing on progress also builds resilience. Life doesn't go according to plan, and setbacks are inevitable. If you're only satisfied with perfect outcomes, every failure feels devastating. But if your goal is progress, you can find success even in failure. Maybe you didn't hit your exact target, but you learned something valuable. Maybe you made a mistake, but you grew stronger or smarter because of it. This mindset allows you to keep going, even when things get hard. It keeps you from giving up just because something didn't go exactly right. Another powerful benefit of choosing progress over perfection is that it increases self-compassion. Perfectionism often comes with harsh self-criticism. You beat yourself up for every small flaw or misstep. But progress is more forgiving. It allows you to acknowledge effort, recognize growth, and celebrate small wins. That, in turn, boosts your motivation and makes the journey more enjoyable. When you learn to appreciate the process, you stop needing everything to be perfect, and that gives you the freedom to truly thrive. Progress also builds confidence. Every small step forward reinforces your belief in your ability to improve. You start to trust yourself more, take more risks, and step outside your comfort zone. You become more focused on learning than performing, more committed to the journey than the outcome. And that's when real transformation happens, not because you chased perfection, but because you embraced progress and kept moving forward. Show up every day. These 4 words hold the essence of what it means to build anything meaningful, whether it's a dream, a habit, a skill, a relationship, or a better version of yourself. Consistency is not about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's not about massive breakthroughs or extraordinary talent. It's about commitment. It's about choosing to take action, no matter how small, every single day, regardless of how you feel. Showing up every day means refusing to let excuses win. It means honoring the promise you made to yourself even when motivation is low, progress feels invisible, or obstacles appear overwhelming. Life will always throw challenges your way. There will be days when you feel tired, uninspired, or emotionally drained. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when it seems easier to quit than to persist. But showing up even in those moments is what separates people who reach their goals from those who give up halfway. It doesn't mean giving 100% effort every single day, because some days that just isn't possible. It means doing something each day to move forward, even if it's just a small step. The act of showing up builds discipline, resilience, and a deep sense of internal strength. Take the example of a writer. Some days the words flow effortlessly and inspiration is abundant. Other days, writing even one paragraph feels like a struggle. But the writer who shows up daily, who sits down at their desk regardless of inspiration, ends up with a finished book. The one who only writes when they feel like it, no matter how talented they may be, rarely finishes anything. Showing up every day builds momentum, and momentum builds results. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating it through consistent action. This principle also applies in relationships. Being present consistently matters more than occasional grand gestures. Showing up for your friends, your family, your partner, not just during celebrations, but during the ordinary days, is what strengthens the bond. Sending a quick message to check in, making time to listen, offering support when it's needed, even if you're busy or tired, that's what real connection is made of. Relationships thrive not on occasional intensity, but on consistent presence. In personal growth, showing up every day creates transformation. Whether you're working on building confidence, managing anxiety, healing from the past, or cultivating gratitude, you won't see dramatic changes overnight. Growth is subtle and slow. But when you commit to the process, journaling daily, meditating regularly, reflecting honestly, you start to change. It may take weeks or months to notice, but those small daily investments in yourself begin to shift your mindset, your emotions, and your identity. Even when it comes to learning a new skill, like coding, painting, public speaking, or playing a sport, the difference is made by showing up every day. You might not feel improvement after one session. I feel clumsy, unsure, or stuck. Your mind and body begin to adapt. You make mistakes, learn from them, and slowly the skill becomes part of you. It's not glamorous or fast, but it's powerful and real. One of the greatest misconceptions people have is that success comes from doing big things occasionally. In reality, it comes from doing small things regularly. Showing up daily is what builds habits. Habits build discipline. Discipline builds excellence. It's not about motivation, it's about mindset. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. And the more often you show up, the more likely it is that motivation will follow. Action breeds motivation, not the other way around. Showing up every day also reinforces your identity. Each day you act in alignment with your goals. You're telling yourself, this is who I am. I am a person who trains. I am a person who writes. I am a person who learns, grows, and improves. That identity becomes a guiding force, even when challenges arise. You're not just hoping for change, you're living it one day at a time. Success is built in the ordinary. In a world obsessed with quick wins, viral moments, and overnight success stories, it's easy to forget that most real achievements are born from repetition, routine, and effort that often goes unnoticed. The truth is, greatness rarely comes from dramatic, one-time actions. It is forged in the mundane, the early mornings, the late nights, the countless hours of quiet work when no one is watching. It is the daily grind, the uncelebrated effort, the repetition of small actions that accumulate over time into something extraordinary. People often underestimate the value of ordinary days. They dismiss the importance of sticking to a schedule, completing their tasks, or showing up to do the work when nothing exciting is happening. But these are the days that define your path. These are the moments where habits are formed, character is tested, and resilience is built. When you understand that success lives in the ordinary, you stop searching for shortcuts and start embracing the process. You begin to value discipline over drama, consistency over chaos. Consistency over chaos. Pick any long-term goal. whether it's writing a book, running a marathon, building a business, or mastering an instrument. And you'll see that the outcome is the result of thousands of small, repeated actions. The author who publishes a best-selling novel didn't just have a flash of inspiration one day. They wrote every day, edited, rewrote, and kept showing up. The athlete who breaks records spent years practicing the same drills, following the same routines, and perfecting their form in ways that to an outsider might seem boring. But it is this dedication to the ordinary that eventually leads to the extraordinary. Even in academic or professional success, the same principle applies. Top students aren't usually the most naturally gifted. They're the ones who consistently do the readings, take notes, review materials, and complete assignments on time. They commit to the process day in and day out. Successful professionals don't just rise through the ranks by chance. They build trust by being dependable, organized, and prepared. They respond to emails, meet deadlines, show up to meetings, and follow through on their responsibilities. None of this looks glamorous, but it builds a foundation of reliability that others come to respect and depend on. There's a quiet confidence that comes from mastering the ordinary. When you know how to manage your time, how to structure your day, how to stay focused and productive without waiting for inspiration, you become more in control of your life. You don't need to rely on unpredictable bursts of creativity or energy. You build systems, rituals, and habits that carry you through. And in those ordinary actions, you create something far more powerful than occasional brilliance. You create excellence that lasts. Success in the ordinary also means embracing the idea of incremental progress. Although you may not see results every day, there may be long stretches where it feels like nothing is changing. But beneath the surface, something is happening. Muscles are growing. Skills are sharpening. Confidence is building. Ideas are forming. The process is slow, but it is working. It's like planting seeds. You don't dig them up every day to check if they've sprouted. You water them, tend to them, and trust the process. Eventually, they grow. It's also important to recognize that the ordinary builds endurance. Life isn't always going to be exciting. There will be seasons of boredom, repetition, and even frustration. But when you've trained yourself to keep going in those seasons, to stick to your habits, to maintain your routine, to stay committed, you become unstoppable. You become unstoppable. You don't depend on conditions being perfect. You've built the strength to keep moving forward no matter what. Success is not about being extraordinary every once in a while. It's about being consistent in the ordinary, day after day, for as long as it takes. The people who understand this are the ones who stay the course, who endure, and who eventually achieve results that others only dream of. They know the secret is not in the spotlight. It's in the shadows, where the real work gets done. So, remember this. Success isn't about doing one big thing once. It's about doing the small things over and over every single day. Whether you're tired, unmotivated, or unsure, just show up. Keep going. Stay consistent, because it's not the loudest effort that wins. It's the quiet, daily commitment that no one sees. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below, sharing how you stay consistent in your own life. Let's build a community that values steady growth over perfection. Thanks for watching. And as always, keep showing up and keep moving forward.